Hey, welcome back guys. So in this video we are going to learn how to make a realistic grass inside the blender. So there is gonna be two way of making grass. The first way would be for the animation movie or or using the grass right inside the blender or any another modeling software. And another type of grass would be of game ready grass, which you can be used inside the game engine like Unreal game engine or Unity game engine. So let's get started for this video. So first of all, this is default scene. I'm just gonna select everything by pressing A and X to delete everything, so that we have the blank space right here. So I'm just gonna press Shift A to add a new mesh, and mesh would be a plane. So I'm just gonna zoom on this plane for now. So now I'm just gonna press R to rotate it, and rotate it on the X-axis to just press X and hit 90 degrees, so that this would be a 90-degree rotation on the X-axis. So now I'm just gonna go inside the edit mode and just move this plane right on the Z-axis, and pressing Ctrl to snap this on the grid right at the bottom. So first of all, I have to tell you that this is gonna be a intermediate tutorial, not kind of beginner tutorial. You should have a simple, at least a basic overall knowledge of the Blender tools. This is gonna be intermediate tutorial, so you have to consider those things. Or you can just watch another basic video like Blender Guru's tutorial and then come back right here, so you can make a realistic grass in the Blender. So right here you can see this is just a plane. So first of all, I'm just gonna select everything and go inside the UV editing mode and select everything and press U and press unwrap. So we have a pop-up called object has non-uniform scale. Unwrap will operate on the non-scale object. So for that, we have to go back inside the object mode and press Ctrl A and scale it. This is happening because let's go back a step. You can see that the scale on the x-axis is 0.041, which is we have reduced, which Blender doesn't work with this kind of scale. When the scale is in the terms of all the to be 1 or all to be 2 or all to be 3, then the Blender could work properly. So now select this object and go inside the edit mode and again press U and unwrap this object. So right there we have this object right here. So I'm just gonna zoom in on this object, which is a grass fern. So I'm just gonna move it right at the center for now, and just going back to scene window again. So I'm just gonna go inside the edit mode now, and we have to add a couple of loop cuts so that this fern would be bending or behave like a realistic grass. So press Ctrl R to add some loop cuts and scroll on the mouse wheel in the forward direction so that you could increase the count of the loop cuts, and I guess 6 is a perfect count for a loop cut. And this loop cuts will be moved, so that you have to just right click to cancel the whole movement, and they will just snap at the center of the plane. So right now you can see that we have 6 loop cuts on the simple plane. So I'm just gonna click on right here to get a proportional editing, or you can just press O to toggle between the proportional editing or not. So I'm just gonna press O and then go inside the side view, first of all we will just select this and press S, so that the grass fern will be a little tippier at the tip, or you don't really have to do that for now. I'm just gonna select this and go inside the side view and press G, so that we and move the scroll the mouse wheel, so that you will have a control over the what can you say, the proportional editing tab. So I'm just gonna go back and press G again, and make sure that this circle doesn't cross the bottom point of the grass, so that the bottom point will be at the stable position, which is at the center of the circle. Just move it something like here, so that you can move around like here, and select this point and press G again, and reduce the size of the circle again, so that you can get this kind of the grass fern. So I guess this kind of a grass fern is looking perfectly fine. And inside the UV editing, you can see, if you select everything, this is a grass fern. So first of all, I'm just gonna add a new texture for the adding some grass texture. So I have downloaded it from the site called Quixel. I guess you all know that site. Okay, I'm just kidding. Okay. So I guess you all know that site. You can download these textures from right from the Quixel. or you can download it from the texture.com, which is completely free. And actually this texture is free on the Quixel itself. You can start a 30 days free trial, and you can download this grass texture inside the Quixel. So this is a free texture, obviously, on the Quixel. I will have the link for that in the description. So I'm just going to select this alpha value so that we can see all the firms really clearly. So we can select any fun of the grass in this. I guess I will go with this one because this is pretty much straight and we don't have to work that much hard. So I'm just gonna first of all press O to turn off this proportional editing and just scale it down right here and move it something around here, so that this will fit the whole fun and doesn't contain any other part of any other grass. Like it should just inside this, and the bottom part of this should be just clipped right from the bottom of this fern. So I'm just going to go back into a layout window so that we have a grass right here. So I'm just going to press shift D to duplicate it and right click to cancel movement, and you can just rotate it on the Z axis by pressing R and Z. Then you can go to the local it's a layout. You can change this global to the local so that you will have the local rotation, which is right on the, you can see the x-axis is different in the local window. So you will have some rotation on the local also. So you shouldn't be starting from the center point every fern. So just move it on the Z axis on the XZ plane by clicking G and shift Z, so that it will not move on the Z axis, so that you can see that right here it's looking completely fine. I'm just gonna move it right on the Z axis like this. I guess this is fine. Yeah, so you can see that this grass is still, this is recognizable. These are two same. So you just have to select random face, and this time you have to turn on the proportional editing and just select, like move it a little bit, like make some variation. Then again shift duplicate this. Okay, I'm just gonna go inside the global space again. So rotate it on the Z axis, rotate it on the, you can if you press X again, so it will go inside the local space. So I'm just gonna rotate it on the X axis and move it a little bit, and then again rotate it on the Z axis. Okay, sorry, shift T, right click to cancel movement, rotate on the Z axis and rotate on the X axis again, and then select any random vertices and move it like a little bit. So you can just shift D or this, and now you can select everything, shift T, rotate on the Z axis right here. So you can see that I'm just doing this fast so that cause I as I said, this is a intermediate tutorial, not a beginner tutorial. So you have to just make it something look like a grass. So this is not still looking anything like a grass, but you have to do this process over and over again, which is a really time taking process. You can just shift really duplicate, move it right here and make it variation, so so that it will not recognizable or not repeating at all. So I'm just gonna make this duplicate and rotate on the Z axis. So yeah, I guess this is a long process for making a grass, I know that, but if you want a realistic effect, this take a time. You should consider the time management in this kind of making a realistic grass. So this is a blender ready grass which will take kind of time. So I'm just gonna fast forward this, or I will come up with the final grass that I have made. So I guess I'm just gonna now make them join, and then shift duplicate and rotate it on the Z axis right here. So move it on the Z X plane, so that you will have this grass kind of effect. So now you can see this is grass is little bit looking like a grass, not really still not really looking like a grass. You can just scale it down, scale it up, scale it on the Z axis only, so that it will have this kind of effect, and move it at the center so that you can see that this is now a little bit looking like a grass as well. So I'm just gonna move this forward where I have created all the grasses. So I guess I'm just gonna move it right there. Okay, so I have prepared this kind of two variation of the grass right here, and I have added some kind of decimate modifier, so that this will be really looking good. And I have added some smoothness shading and also subdivision surface, so that you can see this is a really high poly grass, which is really not supported inside the game engines, but this is truly supported inside the Blender. right there. So I'm just gonna add the materials for this grass. So going inside the shading window for adding the some sort of materials. Yeah. So right here I'm just gonna delete everything. So right here I'm just gonna add some new texture for these grasses. So I guess I have saved it right here somewhere. Textures. Okay, so right now you can see there are a lot many textures. So this one is albedo. Right now you can see that the whatever it is 4K albedo texture. So I'm just gonna plug this color inside the base color right here and move it the little bit side. And now I'm just gonna go add this texture, which is a opacity texture. So we are just gonna use press this color value into the alpha, and now here we are gonna add a search brightness and contrast node and add it right between them, so that you will have control over the opacity of the object. So I'm just going to add a new normal map and add a new vector normal map, and now make this non-color, plug this right here inside the color, and normal map inside the normal. So right there, this is just a basic texture for a grass right now, but I'm just going to go with the basic one. And again I'm just gonna add this one textures. I have named them something else like Lambert. So Lambert is a kind of grass which we are using actually. So I'm just I just named them after that. So whatever it is, yeah. So I'm just gonna make this material to for the both of grass right there, and going inside, and yeah, going inside the render engine, changing to be I'm just gonna change the render engine to cycles, and just now you can hit render, and I'm just gonna change this color right here to the white so that we can see the grass a little bit good. So right here you can see that the grass is looking really good. So this is looking completely realistic in the sense you can see the textures are really, you can see textures are really looking good. I'm just going to increase the roughness, and yeah, right there these grasses are looking really good. So I'm just going to create a new grass field so that you can see everything is working completely fine. I don't know what the hell I just do. Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna press G to move it right here. So I'm just gonna press Shift A to add a new plane right here and scale it up a little bit so that it will be something around this. And I'm just gonna add a new material for this plane also. I'm just gonna name it grass field. So I guess I have a material for a grass. Yeah, I guess it's a Quixel. This is not actually Quixel material. I'm just gonna use this is downloaded from the texture.com. You can use any kind of the grass material you want. Yeah, and vector normal map, plug this right here into this normal map, this to be non-color. So yeah, and I'm just gonna add a new mapping node right here. You can see so that we have a tiling of the texture for this texture, and make it to be something like 4x4. I guess 4x4 is a perfect value. Yeah, so I'm just gonna select this plane, and inside the particle edit add just a new particle and make it to be the hair, so that you can see that the hairs are directly down, facing downside. You can rotate it on the x-axis by 180 degrees, so that fix this problem. There are some other method to fix this issue, which is you can just go inside the edit mode and press Alt N and flip, so that the normal will be flipped and the hairs will be facing this direction. So inside the inside the render view, you can change the render part to be object and just click on this to spawn the grass. So you can see that we have thousands of grass. We just don't need that much bigger amount. I'm just gonna go with like a 300. I guess these are perfectly fine. And here inside the render, we have a scale. I'm just gonna increase the scale a little bit and randomize the scale so that it will not look repetitive, and make this check this advanced box. And inside the rotation, just randomize the rotation, increase the phase, and randomize the phase a little bit, so that rotation will also be a not a factor. Like we have added, I guess, which grass I have added. I just forgot which grass I added. I guess it is Yeah, it's a variable too. So I'm just gonna add another grass, like create another particle system, make it also here, and make this to be 300, and just same method, the make it to be render as grass, and then select this one variable one, and now it will spawn, yeah, spawn the so many number of the grass inside the ground. You cannot really see them, so I'm just gonna increase their size right here, increase their size. So right now you can see that they are just overlapping on each other, so we don't want that. I'm just gonna make this to be, yeah, we don't want this much detailing in this video, because this is just a basic tutorial, not a not really any kind of like we are not creating really environment. I'm just going to show how this grass look on the grass field. So you can see right here the grass is looking perfectly fine. So I guess the environment texture is bit much looking weird, but yeah, whatever it is, the grass is looking perfectly realistic, I guess. So I will add this render at the end of the video. Yeah, this is looking completely fine. Yeah, this is the ground grass is not looking good. I guess I forgot something, and the thing is I just forgot to add a texture coordinates node and plug this UV at the vector node, so that now you can see if I just render this thing. Yeah, right now you can see the grass texture and the grass over it. So this you can just increase this number. I guess this is a really small number for a grass field, because we have a really blank spot. I'm just gonna make this to be 800. I guess 800 is completely fine, I guess. Yeah. So you can add a camera, press Alt Control 0 to align it with view and move it something around here, and just inside render we are going to check how this is gonna look. So yeah, I guess this is looking completely fine. So this is a realistic grass in for the blender itself. So this was for the blender, but if you're gonna make a game ready grasses, this shouldn't have this higher polygon count. Like if you have a 4,000 polygon count for a single grass, and if you add 100 of them, that's where you will reach the limit after adding just 100 of grass. So I'm just gonna hit this save, like grass blender. I'm just gonna save this one and create a new and general window. So I'm just gonna delete everything and add a new mesh, which is a plane mesh, and I'm just gonna rotate it on the x-axis, move it on the z-axis. Okay, not inside the object mode, inside the edit mode. I'm just gonna move it right here on the z-axis, and U to press make it unwrap. And inside the editing, I'm just gonna add another texture. You can see the what's the difference inside the game ready and the like any kind of other grass. So I'm just gonna add this texture. You can see that there are grass texture right there, not a fern texture. So I'm just gonna align this one, I guess, yeah, this one with this. But first of all, you should check by going in this mode if these two vertices are really at the bottom, so that we will not get any issue in the future. I'm just gonna move this one to y-axis, this one also on the y-axis, this one on the z-axis, so that you can just shift duplicate this, rotate it on the z-axis by 45 degree. I guess this is a fine value, and change this position to be on the another grass, so that there will be a variation in the grass, so that it will not look the repetitive. I'm just gonna repeat this process couple of times, and making game ready grass is not that much of a big deal. Actually it is a big deal if you are right textures, if you don't have a right texture, I guess. So now you can see that this is not looking at all like a grass, but yeah, we are just gonna, this is a grass, you have need to trust me. And this, I'm just gonna add a new texture and name it a grass, and just go find that texture again. Okay, sorry, you can just add a new texture, which is a image texture, and select that one texture which I just added, and plug the color into the base color and alpha value right inside the alpha, so that now if I hit this render, so this is not EV, we have to change this to the cycles and make this to be white, so that we can see what the hell is going on right there. So I'm just gonna make it to white, so you can see that the grass is literally looking same as the grass for the blender, but it has a really low polygon, which is three faces are right there. So three faces is really not that much of a big deal. So I'm just gonna show you adding this on grass field right here. I guess this is a good kind of grass field. So I'm just gonna add a particle system, make it here, and render object, select this grass, in okay, not this much, increase the scale, randomize the scale, advance rotation, randomize this, randomize phase, sorry, change the phase, randomize phase. Okay, and I'm just gonna make this to be 2000 because we have really a huge budget, because this is just this will just be like 6000 faces, which we can easily manage, but yeah, right now you can see the problem coming up. Like if you are just rendering a face, the rendering a face is a little bit issue when you are dealing with a blender, I guess, but it doesn't show this same issues inside any other game engine. So I'm just gonna go inside of the viewport display and change this to be alpha clip, and I'm just gonna, this time I'm gonna render it inside the EV, not in the cycles, cause cycles not really is a like a game engine, it's a 3D modeling engine, obviously. So the EV literally work like Unreal Engine actually. So I'm just gonna increase the scale so that the grass is not so much little. So now you can see right there the grass is looking completely realistic. If we add some kind of texture to the ground, the grass will looking completely fine. So this is a realistic grass tutorial for the game ready grass, and also for a blender or any animation movie grass. So I guess this is it for this video. So we will meet in the next one. So till then, bye bye.